You think more than most people. You notice things other people miss. You replay conversations in your head. You analyze decisions from every possible angle. You create imaginary scenarios about the future and emotionally react to them as if they are already real. Your mind moves so fast that you cannot even relax in your own silence. The same intelligence that helps you understand the world is also making you suffer inside your own mind. Because intelligent people often do not struggle with a lack of thinking, they struggle with inability to stop. And over time, that constant mental noise becomes exhausting. And no matter how much you think, it never feels like enough. In fact, the people who overthink the most are often highly intelligent. The real problem is that your brain has slowly turned thinking into a survival mechanism. And once that happens, your mind starts treating uncertainty like danger. Let me show you what is actually happening inside your brain. Imagine a normal situation. Someone sends you a short reply. That is it. Most people glance at it and move on with their day. But your brain does something different. Your brain starts building possibilities. Why did they respond like that? Did I say something wrong? Then you start emotionally reacting to possibilities that might not even be true. And suddenly, a 5-second interaction becomes a 30-minute mental investigation. This is what intelligent people do. Their brains are extremely good at pattern recognition. You naturally think deeper than average. You notice small changes in behavior. You predict outcomes quickly. You mentally simulate situations before they happen. At first, this ability is useful. It helps you avoid mistakes. It helps you prepare. It helps you solve problems faster. But eventually, your brain takes this too far. Because somewhere along the way, your mind starts believing something dangerous. If I think enough, I can prevent pain. That belief changes everything. Now your brain treats overthinking as protection. Every situation becomes something to analyze. Every decision becomes something to perfect. Every uncertainty becomes something your mind must solve before you can finally relax. But the relaxation never comes because uncertainty never fully disappears. So your brain keeps going again and again until thinking becomes mental exhaustion. Here is what most people do not understand about overthinking. Overthinking is not really about the thoughts themselves. It is about control. Your brain is desperately trying to control the future before it arrives. That is why intelligent people often struggle with anxiety. Not because they are incapable, but because they can imagine too many possibilities. Your mind creates hundreds of potential outcomes, some good, some terrible, and your nervous system reacts to all of them, even the imaginary ones. This is why overthinking feels so real. Your body cannot always tell the difference between an actual threat and a mentally imagined one. So when your brain keeps replaying worst-case scenarios, your nervous system responds as if danger is already happening. You feel anxious, you feel restless, you feel mentally exhausted even though nothing physically happened. And the worst part is that intelligent people often trust their thoughts too much. Because being intelligent usually means your thoughts have helped you before. Your analysis has protected you. Your caution has saved you from mistakes. Your ability to think ahead has probably benefited your life many times. So your brain learns something. Thinking more keeps me safe. And once your brain learns that, it starts using overthinking for everything. But here's the problem. The brain only remembers the moments where overthinking seemed useful. It ignores all the damage happening at the same time, the opportunities you never took, the conversations you avoided, the decisions you delayed. Overthinking creates the illusion of progress while quietly keeping you stuck in the same place. And intelligent people suffer from this deeply because they confuse thinking with action. You tell yourself you are still figuring things out, but many times you already know what needs to happen. You are just trying to eliminate uncertainty before acting, and that is impossible. No amount of thinking can make life completely predictable. At some point, every human being has to move forward without knowing exactly how things will turn out. But intelligent people hate this because they often become emotionally attached to getting things right. Maybe growing up, you were the smart one, the person people expected to have answers, the person who rarely made mistakes. And slowly, failure stopped feeling like an event. It started feeling like an identity threat. Now, every decision carries pressure because if you fail, your brain thinks it means something about who you are. So instead of risking failure, your mind keeps analyzing, you keep preparing, and eventually, overthinking turns into paralysis. You stop moving. This is why intelligent people sometimes procrastinate more than everyone else. Not because they are lazy, but because they can mentally see too much. Every option creates another option. Every possibility creates another risk. Eventually, your brain becomes overloaded. So how do you stop? Most people try to stop overthinking by thinking their way out of it. That does not work. Because overthinking is not just a thinking problem, it's a nervous system problem. Your brain has become addicted to certainty, and certainty is something life can never fully give you. So if you want to break the cycle, you have to teach your brain something new. You have to teach it that uncertainty is survivable, and the only way to do that is through action. Small action, imperfect action, not endless mental preparation. Every time you take action without complete certainty, your brain learns that discomfort is not dangerous, which slowly retrains your nervous system. You prove to yourself that you can handle outcomes you cannot fully predict. That is how overthinking begins losing power. You also need to stop treating every thought like it matters. This is important. Intelligent people often assume that because they can think deeply, every thought must contain meaning. But thoughts are not always truth. Sometimes a thought is just fear disguised as logic, and learning to recognize that changes everything. Another thing you need to understand is that modern life is making overthinking worse. Your brain is overstimulated all the time. Constant notifications, constant scrolling, constant information, constant comparison. Your nervous system never gets a chance to rest. This is why silence feels uncomfortable for many intelligent people. That is why simple things help more than people realize. Going for walks, exercising, writing your thoughts down, reducing screen time. These things interrupt the mental loops feeding your anxiety. And finally, understand this. Your intelligence is not the enemy. Your mind is powerful. That is why it can imagine incredible futures. But it is also why it can create terrifying ones. The goal is not to stop thinking deeply. The goal is to stop using thinking as a way to escape uncertainty. At some point, you have to stop rehearsing every possible future and actually live in the present. You have to accept that some outcomes will always remain unknown. Some decisions will never feel perfect, and some risks are unavoidable. But that is part of being human. Peace does not come from finally thinking enough. It comes from realizing that you never needed to think this much in the first place.